They profess to know God, but they deny him by their works. They are detestable, disobedient, and unfit for any good work. What's up, guys? It is Lane again, and today we are talking about the hypocritical church. It is probably one of the main things that keeps people from coming into church, and I want to talk about it today. So, going back to this was in Titus chapter 1, verse 16. I'll read it again. It says, "They profess," that means they speak it out, "to know God, but they deny him by their works." All right, so let's just stop there. So they say that they know God. They say that they know who he is, what he's about. And in reality, saying and doing are two different things. Now, I can say that I know how to play a guitar, but if I don't show that, then it's probably not going to be very believable, right? And in all reality, we as Christians can say, I know God, but if we don't show it by the way that we live, then it's not going to be believable. And what kind of a witnessing platform are you if you fail to show that you know God? Now, in no way am I saying that works are going to get you into heaven. I'm not saying that you are going to be able to go to the throne room and be there with God if you go out and buy everybody McDonald's and pay for everybody in line or anything like that. That is not what I'm saying. What I'm saying is, if you say with your tongue, I am a believer, and you say with your actions that you are not, which one is more believable? So we'll go by that. And then it goes on to say they are detestable, which is a gross word. They are disobedient, which is something that I talk to my kids about all the time. And they are unfit for any good work. So if I have a company that I own, and then I say, all right, let's see what you got. You can tell me all day long that you can run an excavator or you can drive a truck, but unless I see you physically doing it, I'm not really going to base a whole lot off of that. I'm not going to base your money or your income or whatever I'm going to pay you off of your word. I need to physically see you do it. And the thing is that if you say that you are a godly person and yet you are not a godly person, then you are the reason that people are afraid to come to church. And I have to talk to myself in this aspect too, because if I say that I'm a good person, which I would consider myself to be a decent person, I would hope so anyway in the eyes of God that I'm a good person, but realistically, that's not going to bring people to church. Me saying I'm a good person is not going to bring people to church. What's going to bring people to church is being the good person and actually living it out. And, when you look at these things, it's just like there's not many times in the Bible that I'm going to go back and I'm going to look at a few verses here. There's not many times in the Bible where it talks about hypocrites being a good thing. Matter of fact, there's no times in the Bible. So, there's no times in the Bible where it talks about hypocrites being a good thing. Let's go to Galatians 6, verse 3, and it says this, "For if anyone thinks he is something when he is nothing, he deceives himself." Now, we hear all these times that people are very arrogant, and unfortunately in the church, there are a lot of very arrogant people. And in my world, as a musician, there are a whole lot of arrogant people. I can play guitar, bass, drums, sing. I can play the ukulele. I'm really good at this, whatever. It doesn't matter. But being good at something doesn't mean you have to be arrogant about it. It doesn't mean that you have to be a show-off in any way. So, if you think you're good at something, but you're really nothing, because realistically, you would not have those talents without God. You would not have those gifts and abilities without God. And then going on, it says, then his reason to boast will be in himself alone and not in his neighbor. So if you look at that and say, okay, well, I probably took lessons somewhere along the way and whatever. So if you never took lessons, like myself, I never took any lessons on guitar or anything like that, drums, etc. But I did watch a lot of YouTube. I did learn from watching other people. I didn't just know how to play the drums one day. I had to actually learn by watching vicariously. And so, you're not giving credit where credit is due. And then it says, for each one will have to bear his own load. One day, You're going to have to just deal with all this stuff. It's crazy to me that you look at all these Bible verses. If I look down, I'm looking at my Bible and looking for other verses. But, we go into these and you talk about the hypocrites in the church. And I can't tell you how many times I've been talking to somebody and said, hey, would you like to come to church with me? And be like, nah, dude, there's just a bunch of hypocrites in there. I don't want to go in there. There's just a bunch of hypocrites. Well, you're exactly right. They're right. There is a bunch of hypocrites. They are not wrong when they say that. But we as believers have to inform them like, hey, there's hypocrites everywhere you go. There's anywhere you go, there's a hypocrite, and it doesn't just have to be in the church. Now, where the point that they're saying, which I agree with, is, I don't want to go in a place of worship, for example, and have these leaders up there that are preaching the gospel, but then running around on their wife or husband or whatever. That's right. They're not wrong in that. But the reality is this, is that if we go into church and we are looking for a reason to not go to church, you don't even have to walk in the doors to find a reason not to go to church. But the thing is we are going there to worship God. I'm not going there to worship my guitar player. I'm not going there to worship my drummer. I'm not going there to worship the congregation. That's not what we're there for. You know what? One of the things that I love the most is when you are in a service, in a worship service, and the lights go off. Because guess what? Now it is more solitude. You are more focused on you and God. And to me, that is a huge deal. You need that intimacy right there. So we're going to go into Matthew chapter 23. We're going to read 27 through 28. Woe to you, scribes and Pharisees, hypocrites, for you are like whitewashed tombs, which outwardly look and appear beautiful, but within are full of dead people's bones and all uncleanliness. So you also outwardly appear righteous to others, but within you are full of hypocrisy and lawlessness. And these are red letters, so Jesus is talking to these people, and it's just, boy, it cuts you down. And as a minister myself, if I heard this, I'd be like, dang, man, like, this is rough, because it's too easy to become a hypocrite. It is too easy to, kind of do your own thing and your own agenda. But just remember, if you are a church member and you're trying to invite people to church, encourage them on the fact that, yes, they are right, that there are hypocrites in the church. And yes, they are right, that realistically, it's hard to come to church because people are people. They're human. They fall short. They fail. Everyone on this planet fails at some point in their life. Multiple times. I probably fail more than I succeed. That's just how we do things. But don't be a whitewashed tomb that looks really pretty on the outside, but on the inside, you're nothing but rotting, dead. Nah. Okay? That's not a good way to be. Be who you are on the inside as you are on the outside. And hopefully the person that's on the inside is something that can be justified, lawful, and not a hypocrite, as it talks right here. Make sure that you are living what you are saying. Because if you're not, people are going to read you like a book. And they're not going to come. And you're not going to be a effective witness for the cause of Christ. I love you guys. I look forward to seeing you again. Later.